KJ, how are you?
How you doing, KJ?
Hey, KJ. Can you talk a little bit about what the past few months have been like for you, obviously having the injury and then making the decision to come here?
The past few months have been hard. I think initially when I first had the injury, it was very difficult going through that, but it was a quick turnaround. I could either, go in a dark hole and, feel bad for myself or, control what I could control, and that's the conversation I had with my family and everybody around me. I had to control what I could control, and what I could control was attacking my rehab as if it was the season, and that's what I did to make sure I put myself in the best position for when I return.
When were you fully recovered, I guess, after the surgery, and was there any possibility that you could maybe return if you choose to do so during the season?
So I'm still in the process of rehabbing. I'll be 100% for training camp in the NFL. And I got the surgery on October 1st, so there was no chance of me returning, but I was at every home game to make sure I was still supporting my teammates in that.
What led you to make the decision to declare for the draft as opposed to stay for another season after losing pretty much all of last season?
Yes, so physically, I knew, there was no doubt in my mind that I was ready. I needed to tackle and go out there and compete with the guys in the NFL, but mentally was the big part for me. I had to make sure I was mentally ready for the NFL. If you're not mentally strong and mentally ready for the NFL, you won't last. And guys that are mentally weak, they don't last in the league. And I had to make sure that I was there. And I've been preparing my mental and my habits and my routines since I was a freshman in college. Came in my first day. Special shout out to Jair Brown of the 49ers. Told him first day when I got there, I'm gonna be in your right pocket, trying to dominate you and everything, competing with you and everything, and learn everything from you as you're a vet, and that's what I'm coming in to be as a freshman. Took that with me my sophomore year, applied it my way, kept my routine and habits. In my junior year, I was doing everything like a pro, and I almost learned the way it works for me, and I knew I was ready for the NFL.
Have you been talking to Jair throughout the pre-draft process, and what have those conversations been like?
I talk to Jair all the time, and I talk to Jair, Nick Frost. And he's also a guy I went to DeMatha with. So I talked to them about the whole process. They explained it all to me. And, they just say the big thing was just telling me to be myself.
Kevin, what kind of player would an NFL team be getting by drafting you?
First they're getting a guy that, loves the game. I truly love football, and there's no doubt in my mind, no doubt about that. And I don't take this game for granted. It shows in the manner in which I play. They're getting a guy that's a leader, somebody that will come in right away and, show an example for how things should be done, that I'll uplift the people around me, whether it's my teammates, coaches, or people in the building. I bring the best of everybody that's around me, and that's a guy that will do that. And a playmaker. I truly, when I'm on the football field, I'm always be near the ball. I'm always be flying around, and I'm truly gonna make plays and be near the ball. Ball destruction is a big thing I'm about, and that's what I would do.
This week you meet with plenty of NFL teams. Have you met with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yet?
No, I have not.
Kevin, what would you say is your defining trait with so many good safeties in this draft class? What, when someone puts on your tape, defines you and separates you from the rest of the team?
I say truly my instincts in which I play in and the speed at which I play, and then the last thing is how I tackle. I feel like my tackles, in the manner in which I tackle, I don't miss tackles. And, I'm not used to missing tackles, and it's a standard for me. When the ball gets to the second level, I'm really got to get them down.
KJ, a lot of
during this process?
No, I haven't.
KJ, a lot of Penn State guys who probably could have been here with you right now decided to go back. I mean, was that ever on the table for you? What's your reaction to seeing them do that?
Yeah, everybody has to do what they feel is best for them, and whether that's mentally they feel that they want to go improve themselves and mature in certain areas, or whether they want to put some more on the film, that's up to them. And I'm proud of them and happy for them. And no matter what decision they were going to make, I knew they would either come to the NFL and be great players, or go back and they're going to go do what they do. And for me, like I told him, I had to reflect on that for myself and see where am I in the process? Where do I feel as though, am I ready for the NFL? And like I said, physically, that was never a doubt in my mind, and mentally was the biggest part. I feel like that mental side is more important than the physical side, and once I realized that mentally I'm ready, there was no doubt in my mind.
KJ, there was a time, I guess, in the off season and then also early into the fall where people kind of viewed you as maybe a first round talent. Do you still view yourself as that despite this injury?
Yes, I do, no question. The injury doesn't change a thing. If I was playing this junior season, I would have showed exactly what I was supposed to show, and there would have been no doubt in anybody's mind that I was a first-round talent. When I come back, you guys are going to see everything and more of that, and there's no doubt in my mind. I'll make sure that everybody sees it. This injury's not changing anything, but all I can do is control what I control, and what I control is when I get back, it's going to be the same. It's going to be a much better version of it.
So how can you prove that in the pre-draft process, whether it's in interviews or on field drills?
My big thing is simply just when we're going through film, showing that I know what's going on, showing that I can dissect a formation, showing that I can learn a game plan, and simply by going over it one time and coming back to it and showing the coaches that when it comes to right now, the big thing for me is my mental, and that's showing them that I'm mentally there. Because physically, I showed that I can run with guys, I can tackle guys, I can cover guys. Right now, it's just showing that I'm able to go into an NFL safety room and learn the game plan and be a guy that calls the defensive plays and controls the secondary, and that's the big part for me right now.
Kevin, who the injuries a little at the combine? Who have you met with formally at the combine?
About 18 teams, a lot of teams. Yeah.
Another question: is there a play from your career that you think best paints a picture of who you are as a football player?
It's a couple plays. Michigan, my tackle on Loveland. I'll say Michigan State, TFL I had to the flats, and then my interception against Rutgers.
And have you met with the Giants?
Yes, I had.
How'd it go?
It went well. Yeah, I like the Giants a lot. It went well.
KJ, how often do you think about that West Virginia game and how well you played, and I guess how eager are you to get back on the field again?
Yeah, I think about it all the time. I watch that game all the time. Getting away from football and not playing for a long time, I make sure to keep watching my film. You never want to lose confidence. You want to make sure you keep that going. And throughout this process, I've never lost confidence, and my whole confidence has been boosted because of how strong my mental has and the people around me that I have around me. And I think about that West Virginia game all the time, and my motivation to be back. I can't wait. And I'm glad. I'm blessed that it happened to me. I don't regret anything that happened, and I don't wish anything different because I think throughout this process I've learned a lot about myself. I appreciate things more than I ever had, and I'm actually blessed that it happened to me.
How about the Chicago Bears? Have you had a chance to meet with them?
Yes, I have.
So, in terms of your game, where do you like playing more, in the box or in coverage?
To me, it doesn't matter. I love to tackle. I love to cover guys. Just in football, I love playing football. So it doesn't matter. Whatever you want me to do, I'm going to be willing to do it. I'm going to do it at a high level.
What does Bo feel like in practice and after?
Yeah, Bo Cool is a great guy. He's one guy that I love. He was my lift partner one year in the spring, and I love that. That was probably the best spring I've had because a guy like that, he pushes me to my limit, and he has no off days, and that's the kind of guy I want around me to push me to be better.
What makes him difficult to defend? What makes him difficult to defend?
Yeah, what makes him difficult to defend is the fact that he's a lot faster than a lot of people think, which presents problems. And nowadays, when you have a dual threat like him, and then he has a great arm on him. He's a very smart quarterback, so he's a great quarterback. He's a great in Missouri, and I can't wait to see him.
What's the biggest lesson?
Strong tackler on film. Is that something you take pride in?
Yes, that's something I've taken pride in since I was a little kid. My father, the way he raised me as a tackler, and the way he coached me up. When you hit a dude, he should feel you every time, and a lot of times you shouldn't miss any tackles as a safety. And coming at this level, the greatest safeties don't miss many tackles, and they're the guys that get it on the ground, save the team, make sure we can live another down. And I take big pride in that, and I don't take missed tackles like that.
Kevin, you mentioned you've been studying film. Pattern matching, we just saw in the Super Bowl. We saw what they did in cover 4 pattern match. They did a lot of quarter, half, and even cover 9. What's your experience in terms of pattern matching, and what's your approach to learning those things?
Yeah, I have great experience. With Manny Diaz, his defense, we did a lot of that, a lot of simulated pressures, a lot of different things. And same thing with Tom Allen. And my experience, I learned in many different ways, whether it's we get on the board, whether we go to the film, we watch stuff on film, whether we go out on the field. And I've had a great experience of understanding defenses and learning. And in my time of, like I said, being around Jair Brown, who was a guy that can see a defense like no other, and see through an offense, I learned so much from him. And I'm at the point now where it's very fun to watch film. I can watch film and talk ball all day because it's almost like doing a puzzle, and it's got to the point where I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's more enjoyable, and it's more it's not that hard for me to do.
What's your favorite defense to hear called? What's the one you enjoy the most?
I love cover 8 and I love simulated pressures.
Thank you.
KJ, are you going to be able to do anything at Pro Day?
I'm planning on, based on how my body feels, I want to run the 40.
Okay.
What's the biggest lesson that you learned from Coach Franklin that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life?
My biggest thing, and it's not even football related. It's just make sure you treat everybody the same. Treat everybody how you would, shouldn't treat, the janitor different than you would treat your head coach, or just going around the building. That's something I took pride in. You can't. If you go to Penn State, you won't find one person that said I treated them bad. And I made sure that every interaction I had with people around the building was a great interaction. And whether they were having a good day or a bad day, I either added to the good day or made their bad day better.
Walk me through the injury if you could. So you got hurt early in the season. You tried to come back at one point. Walk me through the process a little bit.
So after the West Virginia week, that happened. Great game, great team win. We come next week, that Wednesday in practice. I stepped a little funny, tweaked it.
Okay.
That happened. I didn't know what it was. We checked it, looked at it, no swelling. We thought it was just a tweak.
Okay.
So come Thursday, we have a walkthrough. I like to do my walkthroughs with urgency and go a little faster. I like to make sure I'm getting the game like rep. I step a little funny again, and I feel that sharp pain again. So at that point, I understand, you're going to have nicks and pains during the season. You're never going to feel 100% throughout the season. I try to come Friday, we have our speed, and, it still feels funny then. I think game day, adrenaline will go away, and I feel good game day. Come game day, from the first play, I'm hurt. So, it goes on. A couple plays, I finally realized that I should probably, come out, take myself out. I'm at this point, I'm a liability to the team playing 50%. So I talked with the trainers and my coach. We ended up getting an MRI that following Sunday, and then that's when I realized that it was more than what we thought.
And what was it officially?
It was officially torn ACL. It was partially torn, but I had to get surgery as a torn ACL.
Is there a player as a bigger safety you like to watch, or somebody that you model your game after?
Yes, I say Derwin James. Just simply, he's a big safety. A guy that can cover everybody, whether it's zone coverage or man coverage. He can do everything. He can blitz, and I just love. I'm a big tackle guy. I love how he tackles, and in the manner in which he tackles. He's a physical guy and plays football the way it should be played.
You're here with
One of
Jalen.
your former teammates. What was it like playing with Theo Johnson?
Oh, Theo Johnson, that's a great player. He's a guy. Tall guy. He's faster than a lot of people know. He's deceivingly fast, super fast, and he showed that a lot of times in the league and even at his 40. Playing against like that guy like that, Tyler Warren, Theo Johnson, competing with them day in and day out, I love that. That's what made me such a great player. At the times and the things I learned from them, by practicing with them and competing with them every day, I learned so much to make me a better player, and I wish the best of luck to them.
How do you describe Theo in one word?
I say resilient.
You say you consider yourself a leader. Do you have an example during your time there that people display good leadership?
I say in general, I displayed good leadership in the manner in which I went about it. I made sure that before I said anything to anybody or tried to tell anybody to do anything, I made sure that I had my head on straight. I had to earn the respect of my teammates, and as a leader, you can't have any off days. You can't be somebody that comes in some days negative, some days positive. You have to be a consistent guy that's always trying to get better, always trying to be better. And I made sure that's what I was. And the way I went about leading, I made sure I knew all my teammates. I knew that I couldn't criticize my DN the way I would my corner. And once I, learning that, it makes your leadership is much better and it's much more healthy. And you're getting more out of being a leader instead of just yelling at everybody. And sometimes you yell at a guy and you push him down more. And I made sure I went about that the right way, and because I did that, I was a great leader.
Kevin, when you watch your film, what would you say, is the biggest area of improvement that if you improve this, you'll become a star at the next level?
I say, me personally, I want to cover like a corner. So I say my man coverage, I want to be able to, if say our corner, we get in a sticky situation, I can go out there and guard a great receiver. And that's the big thing I want proven and master man coverage.
Have you met with the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yes, I have.
How was that meeting?
That was a great meeting. Yes, I love their staff and I love everything that they had to offer and everything. It was a great meeting.
Have you met with who took on the leadership role after your injury? Who do you think took up your slack?
The two big ones, I think, Jalen Reed, of course. He was already a leader, but I think, especially when I left, we were the two leaders on the back end, and I think he really embraced that role, and he did a great job doing it. And Abdul Carter, his play shows out a lot, but he's one guy that he leads by example. He'll show you how it's done, and the way he goes about the football, he loves the game, and he shows that every day. And that's one guy. That's another guy I'll say is a leader.
Positional. Teammates told me when you were a freshman, they knew you were going to be a pro right away. Is there a guy that you would bet your first paycheck on? That guy's going to make it to the league in 3 years?
Right now, it's a guy that this is an older guy that's coming out next year. So Zaki Wheat, that's one guy I would bet my check on. That's dude that will hit you like no other. Like he doesn't care. He'll try to take your head off, and a dude that can take the ball out the air. And now he's putting it all together with his instincts, understanding the game. It's going to be a serious season for him next season. So watch out for him.
What's your scouting report on Jay Reed?
With my scout report, super smart player. That's one thing that I feel like we got to give credit to him first and foremost before you talk about anything else. The way he sees the game, the way he understands the game, he has a picture memory. He can see something and remember exactly what to do when the time comes. And then you talk about playing football. He's fast. He's very fast, and not many people know how fast he is. He's a very fast player. He can blitz like no other. That's another part of his game that we need to highlight. He can play man like no other. He can do everything on the field, and when you have a guy like that that's very versatile, he's very useful on the field, and it's amazing. It's a blessing to play with him.
KJ, you mentioned still being with the team, at games every week. What was your role kind of like, whether it's in practice, in the facilities, or on the sideline?
So nothing changes when I get hurt. Once I go down, it's not time for me. The leader role was I was a leader. I'm a leader no matter whether I'm in my pads or I'm on the sideline, and I had to make sure I was still doing that, especially for the young guys, especially for my guys out there. And it was a team effort, and I'm so blessed that we got to go. It's unfortunate that we didn't get to go all the way to the national championship, but it was the fact that they got to go that far. I'm so happy for them, and throughout the process, that's all I wanted for them. And to be able to be a leader for that, that was what I owed to them.
How did you maybe help put Dajuan Lane, in a position to play, when you guys ultimately needed the help?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was from the moment he came in, I seen something in him that, I feel as though Jair Brown seen in me. And you can talk about Jaquan Brisker seeing in Jalen Reed when he came to college. I seen something. I seen that light in him, and I seen the willingness to learn, obviously the size of the player he is. And right from then on, I made sure that little thing I made sure I was getting on him. If it was something small I didn't like, and it wasn't to the standard or the high level that which I had the standard for him, I would let him know. And thankfully, he was very open to coaching and open to criticism, and he never got mad at me about it. He was very open, and that made it a lot easier. So that's how it was with Dajuan.
Kevin, have you talked to the Texans while you're here?
You got a chance to meet with the Bengals?
Yes, I did.
Formal?
Yes.
How did it go?
It went well. Yeah, it was a great meeting.
Versatility is such a huge thing in the NFL. You got a guy like Brian Branch that you feel like come in as a nickel, play both safety spots. How much has that kind of been the evolution of that position, and how important is that to kind of have that versatility as Branch, maybe a guy that you've watched and studied it all?
Yeah, I feel as though it's very important. As a safety, you want to be able to do everything, and you want to be able to understand what everybody's job is, and you should be able to play every position on the field, and you make yourself very useful as that. And as safety, you don't want to be limited to one spot. You want to be able to be everywhere on the field and be interchangeable as a defense. And when you got safeties out there that are interchangeable, it makes the defense roll and much more smoothly and much more better. And that's a big thing for a safety.
KJ, for those who don't know what it's like.
Oh, amazing! Like I talked about that with Theo Johnson, Tyler Warren. But Tyler Warren, he's a different kind of player, man. He's Theo Johnson is as well, but I have more experience with Tyler Warren, of course. But Tyler Warren's a different player. Of course, you guys seen it on the field, but the big credit I give to him is not even just his play. The kind of person he is, he could block 100 times, not catch a pass in the game, and he'll be smiling more than anybody on the field because we won the game. And then he can obviously go for 17 catches and 200 yards and wouldn't even brag one bit about it. So I have much respect for him on that piece.
Last one.
Yes, well, yes. When you have a competitive battle like that, he'll get his and I'll get mine. And it's a blessing that I was able to, go against him in practice, and I don't take it for granted.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, AJ.
AJ.